Hello, this is Bill Meridian speaking to you again with the fourth in a series of presentations about planetary stock trading. Planetary Stock Trading, the book came out 20 years ago. It's currently in its fourth edition. Today, the subject is first trade horoscopes and progressed horoscopes in midheavens. I am giving this presentation on February 16th, 2015. Before we proceed with today's subject, in the last video that was posted, I recommended shorting IBM when they reported earnings on January 20th, 2015. And what I wrote, be on the lookout. IBM may report near the 20th. If it does, plus or minus a day, short the stock because Saturn is contra-parallel the progressed sun on that very date. So you knew about IBM 1 month in advance. And there we go, a direct hit on IBM. The stock dropped $5 or $6 on that very day. Near-term put options increased by about 35%. So, you've seen it with your own ears. That's how planetary stock trading works. Before we begin with today's subject, let's have a little review of first trade horoscopes. In a mundane horoscope, which the first trade chart is, the midheaven MC and the moon are public points. These measure public reaction. It is the same in horoscopes of countries, horoscopes of incorporation. These are points at which you relate to the public. The MC is the public reputation and the career of the person, and the MC is the most important point in the first trade horoscope. Now, if you've studied the Iranian system of astrology, also known as the Hamburg School, you know that the midheaven is the most important point in that chart. Contact to the MC reflects public reaction to the stock, especially at earnings reporting time. Now, we've all seen cases in which a company reports earnings that are slightly better than estimates, but the stock drops. And we've seen the reverse, where they report earnings that are slightly worse than the consensus and the stock rallies. What we're measuring with the first trade chart and the transits and progressions is the public reaction to the announcement, to the events of that day. We're not measuring the earnings themselves. Because the first trade chart is very well aspected, that means the stock is probably going to rise in reaction to the announcement. It doesn't necessarily mean the earnings are going to be above estimates. For that, you're probably better off looking at the incorporation horoscope. So I hope that's clear. Now today, looking at some new rules, rare events such as slow transits have a greater impact. Obviously Pluto, because Pluto transits occur so infrequently, they're much more powerful than the inner planets, which occur very frequently. So now natal planets do not move at all. The natal chart you're looking at has a rate of movement of 0. Doesn't change. Progressed planets move, but they are very slow. When you progress a chart, the sun is moving about a degree a year. Depending on where the entity was born, the midheaven and ascendant move at about that rate with some variation. Mercury, if it's direct, obviously will move faster than the sun. Mars and Venus will move all at their own rates. So the process that I've developed is to look at the natal chart, number 1, look at the progressed chart, direct, number 2, and the progressed chart, converse, number 3. Why use converse progressions? Well, my answer is because they work. What is the logic behind it? Well, let's just say you have a natal sun at 15 degrees of Aries, and you have a progressed sun at 20 degrees of Aries. Make a little mark at 10 degrees Aries. That little mark you made is a sensitive point. You can write the following formula. Sensitive point / progressed sun equals natal sun. The sensitive point is a degree that makes the natal sun the midpoint between the sensitive point and the progressed sun. So that's one rationale for using it, but my major rationale is it simply works. At times, I have seen a natal chart in which there are no outstanding aspects at reporting time. I go on to the progressed chart, I see no outstanding aspects. And then I go to the converse progress chart, and there is, let's say, Saturn parallel the midheaven, Saturn parallel the sun, or Jupiter parallel or conjunct the midheaven or the sun. And that will govern the share price movement. At times, there are only aspects in the progress chart. Very rarely do you see all three confirming each other. That, as we say in American baseball, is a fastball down the middle. That's an easy one. Most of the time, they're mixed. But then again, if you're viewing this video, you're into astrology, and you know what I'm talking about already because you've tried to read horoscopes of people or political entities. So you've already had experience in this area. Cisco. This was written up in February's Dell horoscope, and that was February 2015, written 6 months in advance. And Cisco started trading February 16th, so this is its birthday, 1990. And I write, they will likely report in the second week of the month. On the 4th, Uranus is 60 degrees to the progressed midheaven. On the 14th, Jupiter is contraparallel the progressed midheaven. If the company reports near those dates, there is likely to be a positive earnings surprise. Shares will rise. That is the progressed chart of Cisco, progressed to the middle of February 2015. And here you see the price reaction. Note the jump. Now remember, this was detected 6 months in advance. And here you see the actual share price reaction. And the primary determinator was the progressed chart. Let's move on to Schlumberger. Began trading February 2, 1962. Now this chart is set for 10 a.m. because prior to September 1985, the stock market opened at 10 a.m. From September 1985 on, it's 9:30. The moon is at 10 Capricorn and the midheaven is at 12. The company is due to report on the 17th before the opening. Jupiter is contraparallel the MC on January 17th, 2014. Jupiter is also opposite the MC on the 31st. On the 17th, there will likely be a positive earnings surprise that will lead to a higher share price. In addition, the Venus station is on the MC at the end of the month. So the degrees of the moon and the midheaven for Schlumberger were crisscrossed by positive transits and the Venus station. And here you see the share price move, a 2% price rise. That's enough, again, to move call options significantly enough to generate a pretty good profit for 1 or 2 days worth of trading. And here we see Amazon, May 15th, 1997, 9:30 a.m. Now note the Saturn at 15 Aries 41. I'll refer to that as we move on further. Now Amazon in January 2015. Amazon reports in the third week of the month. Saturn is trying the MC all month while Jupiter trines the progressed MC in January. The latter aspect is exact on the 27th, a bit after earnings are due. This will likely lead to a mild rally in the share price. Uranus is at 12 Aries, far enough away from natal Saturn at 15 Aries 41. Uranus on their Saturn in Aries is bearish, but here there's enough of a separation between the two so that we can dismiss it as a bearish factor. But I write, when Uranus moves back up to 15, Amazon is again likely to plunge as it did last April and July. So here we see the jump in the Amazon share price, and once again the progress chart held the key. Now let me just flip back for 1 minute, and I want to repeat. Now this is February 16, 2015. In April they will report, and I believe the chart will be afflicted at that time. And now I've skipped forward to page 14, and here we have the transits straight from solar fire, and I've underlined the ones that I feel are the most important. Now Saturn was exactly conjunct Uranus in celestial longitude in March. If they had been reporting earnings on that day, that's another fastball down the middle. That's about 85% certainty. Now let me state that Richard Diamond, a successful Wall Street trader, has told me that 85% certainty is the highest your certainty should ever get. Because if you're 100% certain, you're probably wrong. That 15% is a healthy degree of doubt. So 85% is the maximum for me, as it is for him. So April 27, 2015, here we see Saturn is parallel natal Uranus. And on the 24th, we see Uranus is conjunct progressed Saturn. On the 16th of April, we have a retrograde Pluto station. That station is only minutes at 15 Cap 32 from squaring natal Uranus. Then these are a little more minor. Saturn is conjunct Pluto, natal Pluto, on April 6th. And on the 2nd, Saturn is contraparallel the progressed, no, it's contraparallel the natal Sun. And believe me, I wish they were reporting on that day because I'd be 85% certain. But Amazon is probably going to report between the 17th and the 22nd of April 2015. And I've already listed or reviewed with you the hits that I believe are important. And here I just list them again. So we are 2 months away from that date, and we'll see how this works out. But I believe that Uranus being in the vicinity of natal Saturn or being parallel it will cause earnings disappointments, and it's not until Uranus moves away from that degree that Amazon will be free and clear of these bearish contacts. Now, as always, Planetary Stock Trading 4 is available for sale at BillMeridian.com. I do not advise buying it through Amazon, curiously enough, because I did not post it there. Some book vendors did, and I've received complaints from people who pay for Planetary Stock Trading 4 but receive in the mail Planetary Stock Trading 3, the old edition. That is not me doing that, that is them. So buy it directly from me and you will not have that problem. And besides, it's the world's only purple financial astrology book. Websites, BillMeridian.com and AstroApp.com with my friend Gene Vicotan. We have my entire database updated weekly of stocks not only in the U.S. but in foreign countries, plus tools to sort through those horoscopes in seconds. I used to have to do this by hand back in the old days of steam-powered computers, which you young people don't remember. In future presentations, I shall be demoing the tools in AstroApp, and they're really fantastic. But I had to go through the basics first so you could get some grasp or feel for these charts, and you'll really appreciate these tools at astroapp.com. This is Bill Meridian, February 2015, signing off for now. Please look forward to the next video, which will come out somewhere in the next 2 to 4 weeks. Bye-bye for now.